Good evening, folks. Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. All set for another 90 minutes of Champions League misery at home against Feyenoord tomorrow. Coming into this group stage campaign, we thought, let's hope we've got something to play for. Getting into that last home game at Celtic Park on match day 6, and here we are. Shock horror, nothing to play for, and we're off the back of a defeat at Rugby Park at the weekend. Missing a lot of key players. Let's hope that we get some sort of performance and we get this monkey off our backs of not having won a Champions League game for so long, particularly a home Champions League game. 10 years since the last home victory in the Champions League. The quicker we can get that monkey off our back, the better. Tomorrow night is the only chance left for us to do it this year, this season. So let's hope the team can muster a performance from somewhere. Before we go forward and look at the team and talk about the game, this video is sponsored by William Hill, Celtic's official betting partner, and we've got big news. We are giving away 2 tickets to Celtic versus Rangers on the 30th of December. We're going to be giving them away in a competition on the starting 11 prediction for the weekend's game against Hearts. That will be up on Friday, so keep your eyes peeled for that. You have to watch that video and participate in the competition to be in with a chance of winning. But absolutely buzzing to be giving away 2 tickets for the derby at the end of the month. As always, you can check out the match odds for tomorrow's game by clicking the link in the description. 18 plus, and visit begambleaware.org. Now, as I say, we come in off the back of that defeat at Rugby Park. Big post-mortem after it, as there always is after a Celtic defeat. It was Jekyll and Hyde, the difference between both halves. I thought Kilmarnock, to be fair to them, absolutely changed it at half time. They stepped 10 yards further up the pitch. They were aggressive. They got on our faces. They closed us down. And we didn't know how to deal with it, which is pretty damning. I think it's damning for the manager and damning for the players as well. There's been a lot of talk about the board and recruitment, and rightly so. But the players and ultimately the manager have to take responsibility for that defeat at the weekend. If a team like Kilmarnock are going to come out and be aggressive, you have to be able to stand up to it, and you have to be able to play past the press that they're going to put on you. We looked lost in the second half. We went long a few times. We didn't have any ideas. There was a lack of movement in terms of trying to build the play out past Kilmarnock's press. I don't know what happened. It was totally unrecognisable for the first half. But when Kilmarnock make the change and they come in presses and they be more aggressive, it's then up to us to change and adapt what we're doing. And we didn't do that. We played a full second 45 minutes plus added time, and never really looked like we had it in us to get a concerted spell of pressure to create chances. Kilmarnock were by far the better team in that second half and arguably deserved to win the game on the basis of it. I think across the pitch, we're obviously missing key players. We're missing Carter Vickers again. Another game where we've missed Carter Vickers and we've lost it domestically. We're missing Hatate. Kyogo has been on the bench for a couple of weeks. The team, if you think back, I've heard a lot of people saying this is a team that won a treble, and Rodgers has changed it and he's ruined it. I think if you look at the starting 11 and the team that played across the game at the weekend, it's nothing like the starting 11 from last season, because we're without Carter Vickers, Starfelt's gone, we're without Hatate. Moy, who played a lot last season, is gone. Jota's gone. Maida and Abada are out as well. Kyogo's sitting on the bench. That team that played on Sunday is nothing like the team that won a treble last season. So listen, we're miles off it regardless of that. We're miles off it. Even with the personnel we had in the pitch, it should still have been enough to win the game. There's no excuses for that performance in the second half, and we've got to do better. The concern for me now is we've played just about half a season, coming up on half a season, and you could count in less than one hand how many really good performances we've had. I think that's a concern. I think there's work for everybody to do. I think the recruitment point has been made to death, and we need to park that until January. I think the players have to do a lot better, and I think the manager has to do better as well. There's absolutely no getting away from that. Right, let's get to the team for tomorrow's game, and we'll start in goals with Joe Hart. The back four, I'm going Johnston, and at centre half, there's no way Nat Phillips can start this football match, I'm sorry, I just can't come up with one. I sit here every week, try and pick the manager's team, and honestly, deep down, I feel like he might start Nat Phillips because he confirmed today that Carter Vickers won't be involved and will save him for the weekend, and rightly so, because there's not a lot to play for in this game, and Carter Vickers is important for us. It's more important that he's fit and available and fresh for that game against Hearts on Saturday. But there's no way Nat Phillips can start based on his performance against Hibs when he came off the bench and that performance at the weekend. I've got to put Nawrocki in alongside Liam Scales, and I think Greg Taylor will complete the back four. Again, that's not a back four that fills you with any confidence, or a back five, I should say, I suppose. But I can't make a case for Phillips that there's no way he looks mentally prepared for playing for Celtic, and that sort of personality and quality that Brendan Rodgers talks about seeing in training. That he said he's alluded to the fact, he's talked around the fact that Nawrocki and Lagerbielke haven't been providing it in training. And listen, we can't say that's right or wrong because we don't see training every day. He's the best judge of that. He's the manager. He's coached hundreds of players over the years, and so you have to trust him and what he's seen in training. But there is no doubt in my mind that Nawrocki is at least the same, if not a better option than Nat Phillips right now. Nawrocki looked pretty capable, pretty competent in the first few games of the season that he played before he got injured. And I think the time and effort to develop a player should be put in the £4.5 million centre-half on a 5-year contract and not the short-term loanee from Liverpool. It's a free hit, I suppose. There's no free hits at Celtic, but it's a game without massive consequence. And so I can't see a reason not to put Mike Nawrocki back in. If he can't play a full 90 minutes because he's been out for a couple of months, then give him 60, 70, and try and bring someone off the bench if you have to. But I just can't make a case for Nat Phillips starting. One of the big problems on Sunday in the second half was when Kilmarnock came to presses, the centre-halves are not good enough on the ball to cope with it and play out and stay calm. They got flustered. Both of them at times with the ball at their feet looked for the easy option. They went back to Joe Hart again and again and again, and that doesn't cut it. That particularly in this Celtic team, but in any Celtic team, you need to be good on the ball. You need to be competent. If somebody's going to come and press you, you have to have the technical quality to play through it. There needs to be more movement in front of them, yes, but I thought the two centre halves crumbled under the pressure that Kilmarnock put them under in the second half, and they've got to do a lot better than that. It's one of the weaknesses of Scales' game. I think also his aggression and his physicality for a centre half is short of where you would want it to be. I'm still, as I said at the weekend, I can't believe that 6 months into the season we've replaced Carl Starfelt with Liam Scales. Carl Starfelt was really good. He was much maligned. I think more maligned probably than Liam Scales, despite the really good performances that Carl Starfelt put in over the piece, particularly domestically, during his time at Celtic. I think that's a downgrade, one of numerous downgrades when you compare this season's starting 11 to just about any starting 11 for last season. Midfield, I'm going unchanged. I think Iwata will keep his place. McGregor and O'Reilly in front of him. I think the whole midfield, I suppose, in the second half didn't do enough. O'Reilly got another goal. But I think in the second half, I know McGregor took a sore one in the second half. He got clattered, and there's a period of 2-3 minutes where he was really limping quite heavily. I thought he might have to come off. Iwata did come off. He was replaced by Kyogo, but again, do you make a case for Turnbull, Bernardo? We've seen these guys come in and play at times, particularly Bernardo in the Champions League games, but again, you're struggling to make a case for why he should come in and start this game, because again, he's dropped off the face of the earth domestically since the Lazio game. So that is the midfield three I'm going with. And the front three, again, I'm going to go Johnston on the right hand side, believe it or not, Palma on the left and Kyogo through the middle. Mikey Johnston, bright in the first half, involved in the build up to the goal, puts a great ball in that O should finish. He just doesn't get there, doesn't get the right contact or any contact at all. But in the second half, Mikey Johnston really dropped off. He was too weak at times when he was in 50-50 duels with defenders. He wasn't strong enough. He also wasn't quick enough. He got beat a couple of times when there was the rare chances where he got in down the side, down the right hand side in the second half. Didn't do enough again. But again, I'm sitting here thinking Can I make a case for Yang? I can't. Can I make a case for Forrest to start this game at 32 years of age? I can't do that either. And Abada and Maeda are still missing. So I think Mikey Johnson on the left, Palmer back from his suspension against Lazio. On the left-hand side, again, got to do better. I think spent a wee bit too much time looking for fouls and cutting inside at the weekend. Again, I'd like to see him stay on his feet a bit more, be stronger, stand up to the aggression instead of looking for fouls. And through the middle, I just can't ever make a case, and it's not about my favouritism for him. I think Kyogo Furuhashi is our best player. Why should you make a case for the best player being on the bench? He's been starved of service in recent weeks. There's no doubt he's going through a dip in confidence. But I think if he was on the end a couple of the chances we created in the first half at Rugby Park on Sunday, we might have been on the end of a different result. I think he's done enough in his 2 seasons here for the manager to stick by him, going through maybe a slight dip in form, a dip in confidence. I think he's done enough to still be picked and to be in there. And there's no doubt that if we keep giving him chances, like we haven't been doing in recent weeks, if we get chances to him, you back him to score and find his confidence. Again, he's so important for us. When you've not got Hatate and you've not got Carter Vickers, you can't choose not to play Kyogo as well, because those are the 3 most important players in the team. In my opinion, Carter Vickers, Hatate and Kyogo. Without those 3, we are a completely different football team. And he's got to start tomorrow and at the weekend, Kyogo. So there you go. That's something like the team I hope the manager picks tomorrow. Like the video, comment with your own thoughts on the team below. Who do you think will start? Do you think we can get a victory? Do you care if we can get a victory? I know that it's been another long, hard European campaign, but do you think we can get anything from the game? Please don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you outside Celtic Park with the full-time reaction after the game. Cheers.